what makes a note problematic, and what is it that you are looking for to say, yes, this is a slam dunk, let's do it?
Yeah, so a lot of them were self-serviced, which is an issue because if I purchase the loan and the buyer down the road disputes the balance, I'm going to have a major issue there. And it just wasn't worth the headaches.
When you say self-service, so you mean the person who originated that note, they are actually collecting the payments themselves, like the person sends checks or something directly to them?
Exactly.
Okay.
The other issue is that a lot of them were land contracts, and I just was not comfortable with the language in the land contracts.
Mhm.
So really what I have is kind of an overview of what I think that anyone who's interested in selling land with financing should keep in mind. And really what it comes down to is there's issues regarding the specific property, issues with the borrower, specific loan terms that you should adhere to, and then the process that I recommend that you follow.
Yeah. And we're totally going to get into that because that sounds super interesting. I'm curious, though, on that issue of somebody who is servicing loans themselves. So it sounds like the problem inherent is that when a person services their own loans, could that be okay if they were able to provide very thorough documentation of every payment received and when it was received and, a paper trail of everything? Like, would that resolve the issue, or is there some other problem about servicing your own loans that makes that an issue?
Well, one of the issues, and I suspect that people don't frequently charge interest, because at the end of the year, they have to provide a 1099 to the borrower, a statement of the interest paid for the year. But I always recommend the use of a servicer because you have really a third party that's professional, that's going to have advanced software that they're using, that's also licensed in the different states to service loans. And it's just a much cleaner way to handle the payments. Mm-hmm. I do suppose, though, if you had very thorough records, that it would be just fine.
Okay.
But, there are steps that you can take in selling your loan to confirm the balance of the loan prior to the sale.
When you say loan servicing companies, so you do not mean software, correct? Like, say if somebody was using Zimple Money or GeekPay or something like that, is that not good enough, or could that work?
It'll work.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. But I'm a big fan of using loan servicers just because they're going to interface with the borrower. They're going to collect the payments. They're going to maintain the records. They're going to send out the interest statements to both you and the borrower at the end of the year. They're also licensed in the states that they operate. In my opinion, it's the best $20 a month that you're going to spend. It's a very low margin business for them, and it's a lot of responsibility for them. And ultimately, if you structure it the right way, the buyer is going to end up paying that monthly loan servicing fee. So it's well worth, in my opinion, using a servicer.
And I would agree. I mean, in my experience with loan servicing companies, like, it is kind of a surprising value when you consider the job that human involvement is there, and they just kind of like tie up every loose end, it feels like. And maybe there are certain loan servicing companies that are good and certain ones that are bad or something like that. But I'm curious, in your experience, it sounds like you've worked with one or two of them. Is there any particular one or two or three that you're like, yeah, this is a good one, go here?
Yeah, so the ones that I use the most are BiFi Loan Servicing and Madison Management. I've used most of them. They all have their pros and cons, and FCI is great. The only thing that I like more about Madison or BiFi is that you can get someone on the phone, and that's a little harder at FCI. That's more of an email-based structure. For the beginning investor, it's really nice to just be able to call in and speak to someone.
And I believe Madison is licensed everywhere, right? In all or most of the 50 states. Is that true?
Yeah, they're licensed in most states. For servicers, it's expensive to get the license. Mm-hmm. So they just have to kind of look at it from a cost benefit perspective. If they don't have very many loans in that state, it's probably not worth them getting licensed because the licensure process is just extremely arduous and painful. But in most states, they are licensed.
So why do you think, because I agree with you, like I kind of think it's the way to go as well, but it feels like a lot of land investors don't do this. Like they're either self-servicing or they're using some kind of software. And even the software, I guess it's been a while since I've looked at the pricing and all the options out there, but I don't think it's that far off from what a loan servicing company would be. Why don't people just default to always using a loan servicer? Especially if you can put a servicing fee on your borrower to pay for that cost anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's probably just a knowledge issue. They don't know that it's an option. And I think that, if they knew about it, if they knew how great it was, they would probably move more in that direction. And it really improves the saleability of the loan when you have it professionally serviced, because the servicer is going to keep track of all payments, including the date and the amount from the very first payment. And you're going to have that to be able to show a prospective buyer. Once you get to about 10 or 15 notes, it becomes overwhelming to do it yourself or to just use a software. And considering the notes that I have in my portfolio, I really do very little when it comes to, I have to do my own bookkeeping. I don't do it. I outsource that. But in terms of the day-to-day payments and collections and oversight for the individual loans, I just check a portal. That's the other great thing about a servicer is that they're going to have a portal that you're going to be able to look at on a daily basis, see the payments come in. You can download reports. It's just really awesome.
Do you know, can those loan servicers, can they accept credit cards as payments? Or is it like ACH or mailing in a check?
So I don't believe that they do. There may be some type of, I'm thinking that like, what if the payment was recalled? Or there may be some law that regulates credit card payments for that. The ones that I work with, I don't think that they do. It's just ACH, or you can mail in a check, or they can take a payment through their website.
Sure.
The really nice thing is if a borrower sets up ACH, it's just done every month automatically.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was curious. I don't know if any of those loan services do that.
One other really cool thing about servicing is that some servicers actually report to the credit bureaus. They're online with them. And if a borrower misses payments, that's going to be sent to the credit bureaus, as well as the flip side. If they're making regular payments, that's going to be reported as well.